So this session is going to be the English version of what Hiba delivered. Thank you very much to Hiba for doing everything in Arabic as well. That has been very helpful in understanding. We'll try and get to as many questions as we can. So you will be able to answer those as many as you can, but you might have other questions. Now, a lot of the questions that you're asking are actually being answered in the presentation. So if you just be a little patient, just listen to the presentation. A lot of the questions that you're asking will actually be in the presentation as well. And if they're not in the presentation, you have a question that you know that you want to ask that are not in the presentation, you will also find a lot of the answers on the website as well. So just take a note of that. The website is where you can find a lot of the questions. And all the details that you need, the website, the WhatsApp channel, all of that is included in this presentation. So sit back, relax, have a look at the presentation, listen to me, and then you'll find that there are lots of questions that are already being answered that you're asking the questions for. So let's have a look. Let's delve into this a little bit and find out what we're going to do in this challenge. Now, before I do that, let me just make sure that I'm sharing properly. Sorry, I just want to show you that I'm sharing my sound, which I don't think I was. So here we go. Before we do anything, what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you a quick video of some highlights from the last round that we did of this last year.
So Mutaz, do you want to see some of the students' projects?
نعم كارن، أنا متحمس جدا لرؤية المشاريع التي صنعها الطلاب. هل يمكننا عرض الفيديو الآن؟
You can see there's quite a few examples of app prototypes that we had there. So actually what you're doing is you're building an app prototype, okay? So that's very clear from the outset. You're not actually building an app in this part of the competition. We want to see good ideas here. And this year's theme, by the way, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Michael Pazinas. Maybe you joined me last year. If not, then I'll tell you that my name is Michael Pazinas. I'm the Program Director for Creativity and Innovation at Sanduk Al Watan. And what I'd like to do today is just basically go through what the iOS Design Challenge means this year. Now, in honor of COP28 this year that's being held in the UAE, this year's app challenge is all around the idea of sustainability, okay, looking after our planet. So your app designs, your app prototypes are really, really important to us in terms of the way that we can look after the planet. And we're going to do this by focusing on some SDGs. Now, you might be aware of some of these SDGs. You might understand what these SDGs are. Maybe you've done some projects at your school around SDGs or Sustainable Development Goals. So Sustainable Development Goals are actually a set of goals that are given to us by the United Nations. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to focus on 5 of them. The first one being quality education. So you can pick one of these areas in order to build your app around. So here, one of the areas that we would look at is quality education. And quality education is very important for everybody around the world. And if your app can help us to promote quality education and lifelong learning, then that is obviously going to be something that will help us and help the world. That's what it's about, really. It's about helping other people around the world. And I see a couple of you are putting your hand up. If you have any questions, we don't really have time to answer them live here, but you can put those in the question and answer. You can put them in the question and answer area, and we'll be able to get round to those to you, and then we can get back to you. If you have any other questions and you think about them after the session, you can drop us an email, and I'll provide all the details of those a little bit later on. The second goal that we're going to be looking at is affordable and clean energy. So making sure that people have accessibility to energy that's affordable and reliable and sustainable as well. So that's another area. So if your app can help with that, that's another area you can do. And we're going to give you some information on the LMS that we'll be sharing next week. We're going to be using an online platform to deliver everything to you. So all the materials will be on the online platform. And what you'll be able to do is, you'll be able to do with that is that, with the online platform, is that you'll be able to download lots of materials from there, and also you'll be able to get guidance as well and templates, and there are lots of tasks for you to do. I'm going to show you a little bit about that a little bit later on. The next area is sustainable cities and communities, to make cities inclusive and safe and resilient, and also sustainable, to making sure that our cities, the places where we live, where most of the populations around the world live, are places that are habitable, they're not polluted, and are able to allow us to lead healthy lives as well. And one of the other areas that we have problems with is when we consume things, when we buy things, and that can be, food, or it could be clothing, or it could be products, even technology products. We want to be making sure that we're responsible, and we're perhaps reusing some of those products if we can, more than recycling them. And then the next stage is kind of recycling. And then when we go back into what we call a circular economy, so we're going back into this idea of using the things again for a different purpose the next time round. So that's a very important area as well. And then there's also communication and and taking action with the climate change, because obviously climate change is a huge problem, and we see every year temperatures rising, and in some parts of the world people are actually losing their countries because of climate change. That's a much more serious issue in some areas of the world. What can we do to help people tackle climate change and its impacts? That would be another area that we're looking at. So there are some things here I'm going to talk a little bit about the teachers supporting this first of all, and then I'll talk about the students as well. So with the teachers supporting this, we have what we call iOS Design Club leaders, and the teacher's role here is really to help students, to guide students along the process of creating their app prototype. And if you're a teacher and you're listening to us, you can be any teacher from any discipline. It doesn't matter which discipline you're from. You could be an art teacher, you could be a technology teacher, you could be an Islamic religious teacher. It's not a problem at all. You can be from any background whatsoever, as long as you have an interest in this, you can help out with this. And what we'll be expecting you to do is help guide groups through this, and you can register your students as well through the website iosdesign.ae. And what we will give you in return is that we do a check-in with you, so you'll be able to check in and do a little bit of reporting on how things are going. And there's some additional activities that we will provide for you in order for you to be able to do these activities with your students and to help them and guide them through the process. And every person that submits an app with a teacher, their teacher will get a certificate, an iOS Design Club Leader certificate for 2024. And we're also entertaining the idea of teachers of winning teams joining some of the students on the Swift Accelerator program if they wanted to as well. We can't give max to everybody, but we'll give max to the winning students. But for the teachers, we're also considering the fact that some of the teachers of the winning teams might like to join their students in Swift Accelerator, which is the big prize at the end of this. And I'll speak more about that a little bit later on. Also, this year, we're going to introduce trophies for the winning schools as well. And we want to make sure that we promote your school and promote your good work. And so we'll also be able to help you with social media as well via Sandu Kolbatan, which is the organization that I work for in promoting this. So what do you have to do as iOS Design Club leaders? So if you're a teacher right now, and you don't need, if you're a student and you don't have a teacher, you can still apply. But doing this with teachers is very strong, because what it allows you to do, it allows you to have that guidance that you might not normally have. So you might have a stronger case for winning if you're doing this with a teacher. But again, don't let that put you off. If you haven't got a teacher, or the teacher doesn't want to do this with you, that's fine. You can still do this, and I'll explain that in a second. So you can register your students via the website. So if you're a teacher that's registering, if you go to the website, there's a special button for teachers, and you can register your groups, and you can re-register as many groups as you are helping if you want to do that as well, and you'll all be enrolled on the LMS as well. And what we're asking you to do as a teacher is to run the iOS design sessions in school. So through the LMS, you might want to do some of the activities together, and you're really in a facilitatory role here. You're facilitating the activities that the students will be doing. So you'll see exactly the same things and activities that the students will see. The only addition that you will have is that you'll have extra activities that you can do with the children and the students and the older students. And you also have what we call a check-in. So every now and again, we'll ask you to feed back, usually through a multiple choice questionnaire, how things are going. And it's anonymized data. You don't have to put anything in there. You just, kind of report how things are going with your students. And then that will allow us to keep track of people that are actively taking part in this competition. And so what we ask you to do is attend the iOS Design Leaders workshops that we'll hold online, and use the LMS and the additional materials that you'll have access to, and then help the students complete the iOS design, help the students to complete the design task, but also complete your check-ins as well. You have these little tasks on the LMS, which you'll be able to see a little bit later on when we introduce you to the LMS next week. Now, insofar as a teacher, you might be interested, well, why should I do this with my students? What do my students get out of it? Well, first of all, they pick up on real world skills. I mean, there's a lot of critical thinking around this because it's thematic. It's talking about sustainability. There's a lot of thinking around how we help people through building apps as well, which is what we're here to do. We're actually here to help people on when we build apps as well. And there's also cognitive flexibility in that. There's adaptability for students as well, and they'll also increase their digital fluency. And if you're not a coding teacher or a technology teacher, you will also be able to benefit from this as well, because you'll be able to learn at least the rudimentary principles behind the coding language that we use, which is Swift. In this case, which is what all the apps on the Apple App Store actually, well, not all of them, but the new apps that come out are actually programmed in Swift. So you can take advantage of that and have a look at those as well. And it's also an opportunity for students to learn how to collaborate with each other, and also to learn entrepreneurship skills as well, which is also a great skill for the future. So the next session is the 21st of November, and we'll look at the LMS in that session as well, and also we'll have a session on the 23rd of January as well, which will be a special session for iOS Design Club leaders. So make sure that you take note of that. There's a WhatsApp group there, so that you know when those are going to happen as well, so you can join us in those sessions. It will be very good to see you in those sessions as well, and it will be one of the prerequisites for you to work with the students on the challenge. So let's talk about the students. Let's talk about you guys. Let's talk about what we're expecting from you. So with iOS Design Challenge, we're going to provide the content in both English and in Arabic. So you'll be able to do that in either language. And we're here to try and support you as much as we can in English or in Arabic. And, you might find that some things are easier done in English and other things are easier done in Arabic. You have flexibility on the LMS. You'll be able to see, you can submit some things in English, you can submit some things in Arabic. We're not worried about which language you submit in. We have people on our team that can help us with both of those languages. And you'll get an iOS design certificate if you submit. So if you submit, regardless of whether you win or you don't, or you're not selected this time round, you will get an iOS design certificate sent to you via email. So it's a digital iOS design challenge certificate. You'll get that regardless. For the winners, there will be a special showcase event in May in 2024. And we had a very nice showcase event last year where we had many of the winners join us and many of their friends and family also join us as well. We had a really nice celebration on Yas Island in Abu Dhabi last year, which was great. And you get the opportunity, if you win, to get onto the Swift Accelerator program. And the Swift Accelerator program is a program with 180 hours of code. Okay, so you get training, 180 hours of code training, okay, to help you build apps. And to do that, you obviously need a MacBook. You need a MacBook Air, at least. So we give you a MacBook Air if you win, okay, and you get some special gifts from us if you win as well with your MacBook, okay. So, but the idea is not really the MacBook or the special gifts. It's actually what you get on the Swift Accelerator program, because on the Swift Accelerator program, what you're able to do is actually publish your own app, okay. And so on the App Store, which is an absolutely fantastic opportunity. And imagine, like, before you get even before you get to university, you can say that you've published an app. But I think that's an amazing opportunity. And the other thing is, you get a certificate as well, and you get an official Apple certificate, because you're able to. We give you the opportunity to sit for the certification. It's the Swift Associate certification from Certiport, which is the official Apple certification, pro level certification, which you also get before you get to university, which again is another amazing opportunity. So it's not really about the MacBook. The MacBook's here one day and gone the next. It's actually what you build up on that program, which is actually the most important part. I think. You might disagree with me. You might think it's all about the MacBook. So the iOS Design Challenge participants will register via the website. So the website, as you've seen, you can register on the website. As long as you register on the website, we'll get in contact with you and give you your login details for the LMS, which the LMS is for those of you that don't know, is a learning management system. And basically it's a special system that we use to deliver and really help you get through the program as well. And there are various tasks, and I'm going to show you an example of one of the tasks a little bit later on. Now, what's important for you to understand is that teams work really, really well. And you don't have to be a coder. I've told you that already. There are different roles. I'll get to those in a second. But you need about 4 people in your group, okay, to make it work well. So if you can team up with some other people and make a group of 4, that's a really, really great way of doing this. Now, if you point blank refuse and you think, we can do this with 2 of us in our group, that's fine. And you can do it with 1 person as well. It's not a problem at all. It's just that the workload will increase considerably, and you'll have to take different roles on. And so the idea of putting a group together is trying to, as much as we can, try to recreate this idea of an app development team, because an app development team is usually more than 1 person, and they all have different roles. So we wanted to make sure that we introduce those roles to you in this particular session. Now, we will have some special guest speaker sessions in January as well. So you need to attend those. Those are very important. And you need to complete the tasks and the app journal within the LMS. The more you complete in the LMS, the more likely you are to be shortlisted, okay, to be pushed towards the top, because it's actually done on a point system this year. So if you complete the tasks and you submit them well, we know that you've prepared enough to be able to submit the video, okay, and the app prototype. So this year we're asking for an app prototype, a working app prototype, and a video as well. So the more you do in the LMS, so the more you do on that platform, the more likely you are to be shortlisted and hopefully go through to Swift Accelerator, because you'll be completing tasks, and we know that you've done those tasks to be able to help you. And I got one question earlier, which I thought was quite funny, which was, can I use ChatGPT or AI to help me to do this? And my answer to that would be, go and ask ChatGPT if it thinks it's a good idea. That's what I would do personally. But yeah, it's entirely up to you. But there are ways that we can find out things. I'm not sure if they're always the best if you're doing it through an AI. Now, choose your sustainability goal. You have to choose one of those goals that I explained earlier, and then you get to design your app prototype. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing in this particular. So once you've focused on one of those goals, and like I said, the platform that we're going to give you will help you go through the process. So as you're going through it, and I often get questions like, do I need a Mac or an Apple device? No, you don't, because it's cross-platform, it's online, so all the tasks are done online as well. I'm going to show you one online. Even though I've got a Mac myself, I'm actually going to show you an online version of one of the activities, which actually uses Apple technology, believe it or not. So we're actually going to be using Apple technology without owning Apple technology as well, which I think is quite clever. So anyway, here are some key dates that you might want to think about. And again, these will be available to you. These are key dates because we're going to be doing some sessions for you, and they're secret right now. But in your LMS, when you go into your LMS, we'll be able to inform you. So make sure you sign up on the iOS design website so that we can send you your login details soon, maybe around next week, so that you can actually log in. Because there are dates here, and all of these will be recorded for you. So if you miss one, recorded. Now, I would try not to miss them. And the reason why is because you're going to get a lot out of them if you actually attend the sessions. You'll be able to ask questions and interact with the speaker as well. So I think it's actually a very good idea that you attend these sessions as well. So you can see there's November is a special session for students, November the 22nd. There's another one in January. We've got a couple in February and one in March. And these sessions will actually help you with making sure that you're designing your app prototype in the right way. So we'll have industry experts. You might get me on one of the sessions, which you might want to come to, or you might skip it, think, no, it's only Michael, I'm going to skip that one. But you're welcome to join me on one of the sessions, and I'm pretty sure that we'll get some other experts joining us on that. So let's hope you'll join some of those sessions as well, because they're very important. Now, what do we want from you? Okay, what do we want from you as a student? If you're coming to us and you want to take part in this competition, and you're going to get all of these lovely things out of it, mainly the skills that you're going to build up, the fact that you're going to have the opportunity to, to publish an app, what do we want you to do? And what are we asking for? We're providing all of this for free, okay, including the other competition, not the other competition, including the prize, and including everything that you see here, and all the content and all the materials for your teachers. We're providing everything for free to everybody. So we want some commitment from you, okay? We're not doing this for nothing. We want to do it for you, and we want you to help us as well. So what's your commitment? Your commitment is to work and deliver all the activities found in the learning management system. So you need to work on those activities that we ask you to do, and it's not easy. Nobody's saying this is easy. And we don't want it to be easy, because we want the best. We don't want we want the absolute best coming through. So please try hard to deliver what you can, because we want the best coming through. And the more you do on the learning management system, like I said, it's points, points, points. Okay, you can see there that, you can see one of our characters there saying points, points, points. That means because, you'll be doing all these activities. Every time you do activities, you're gaining points, and you have more of an opportunity to be shortlisted. Okay. Now, we want you to design and build an app prototype. Okay. And that prototype is not a real app, but it's a working version, a working prototype. So, there's not much coding involved, although you will be learning coding principles on there if you decide that you're taking the coding role. And the other thing is that you'll submit a 3-minute video. So the 3-minute video is important as well on this as well. So that's what we're going to be asking you to do. And all the submissions are done through the LMS. You don't need to send them to the email or anything. The LMS will handle all of that. And that's because we had an overwhelming amount of people take part in this last year. And we're hoping to get more this year taking part. And so, submitting that 3-minute video as well is very important, along with the app prototype. We wanted something that was robust so that we could handle all of these people that were coming on. So we decided to go with an LMS this year in a learning management system. Now, in your groups, you need to have 1 to 4 people in your groups. Okay, you will have, if you're dealing with your teacher, you'll have an iOS design leader. And the iOS design leader can register multiple groups of students. So remember, the iOS design leader is a teacher. So if a teacher wants to take part, and it's optional, they don't have to, then they can register students as well. If you're a student yourself, you only need 1 person from the group to register. So if you haven't registered, only 1 person will register, and they'll register the rest of the people in their group. You have to remember that the age is very, very important. You have to be 13 by the 31st of August, 2024. So by the end of August, you have to be 13 years old. So you could be 12 now. As long as you are 13 years of age by the 31st of August, 2024, you'll be able to participate in the challenge. And the reason we ask that is because we need you to be 13 years of age to be able to access the Swift Accelerator program. Okay, and in your group, you will have different roles. So there'll be a UX UI designer in your group, and you will have different roles to do, different tasks as well. There'll be a coder in your group. There'll be a business strategist in your group. And there'll be a project manager. You need there'll be a maximum of 4 people in your group, no more than 4 in a group, and no less than 1 in a group. Now, if you're 1 person, you're going to have to do all of the other roles involved in the group. So if you are on your own, you're going to have to be the UI, UX designer, you're going to have to be the coder, you're going to have to be the business strategist, and you're going to have to be the project manager as well. You're going to have to take all 4 roles on. There's 2 of you, you'll have to take a couple of roles each on. But if there's 4 of you and you work together, you'll have a much better time doing it. And the competition is open to UAE nationals and residents. So it's open to every single child aged 12 now to 18 right now. So 13 by the end of August, 31st of August, 2024, open to every single student in the country aged between 13 and 18 years old. Now, I want to show you an example of one of the tasks. And so I'm going to just come off of my computer for a second, and we're going to have a more in-depth session at a later stage. But let me just get onto my, and what I've done is I've loaded up let me show you. I've loaded up an online version of a task. Now here, you can see a window, okay? And my window is, it's actually Chrome that I'm using right now. But actually what I'm using here is Apple technology. I'm using something called Numbers. Some of you may know Numbers. And what this is it's really a spreadsheet app, but it's actually much more than that. You can actually do a little bit more than that, and you'll see that it doesn't really look like a spreadsheet as I'm using it now, but it's actually a spreadsheet app from Apple, and you can do different things on here. So you can add pictures, for example, or videos. You can add text, and you can make comments on there. You can share this as well with others as well. You can collaborate with others on this as well. So, oops. Whoa, yeah. 1 second. Let me just. It's 0.5. I think Siri's having a go here as well. So, what we've got here is you'll see that there are some instructions on the first tab right here about what you have to do. So in this particular task, so this is an example task, you'll see that there are 4 tabs along here. And the 4 tabs are actually for 4 different types of people in your group. So you'll see here that there's one for a project manager, there's one for business, for the business strategist, there's one for the designer, the UX UI designer, and one for the coder. So let's have a look at a little bit about all of these. So in this one, for example, as a project manager, so somebody that's running the project, running your app design company, shall we say, or your app design group, you often have to come up with some objectives. Okay, so what we do is we teach you how to write smart objectives. And what you can do here is you can actually go in here and you can start writing your objectives in here. And we've got the same thing in Arabic. Hiba showed this earlier in Arabic. And you'll see on the left-hand side here, there's an example of what we're talking about on here. So you always get an example. And then we ask you to do a task. So that's the project manager's role. And they might need to do a timeline. Okay. So what am I going to do in November? I'm going to do this in November. What am I going to do in February? I'm going to put this. Then some of these might overlap as well. And you might need to put this. This is like a Gantt chart. So, you might need to do a bit of overlapping here. You might set yourself some milestones. And then you'll have to submit this as well. Okay. And each of you will share this document. So you can actually share the documents up here. You can see there are quite a few people in my team that are sharing this with me. And basically what you've got here is you've got like a business part here. So this is for the project manager, and then there's a business strategist. Okay. And the business strategist in this particular task is being asked to create some personas. Now, personas are people that that basically represent an area or a group of people in your target audience. Okay, so you'll have to answer these questions. And I've got an example of a persona here for you called Emma Akos. And basically with that, you'll be able to see that there are different personas here. Persona 1, 2, and 3 here. And you'll have to create a persona. So what are the types of people you are going to interact with? And you're going to have to answer these questions, all the different groups of people that you're trying to attract for your app. Okay. And then you might have to think about a vision. So what's the vision for your app? Okay. What do you hope to do with your app? You can put all that as well. And there are some examples of some really great visions here as well. And you can be able to write there. And you can work together on these as well separately. And there's a design role as well. Here we're looking at app features. So you're going to look at app features and you're going to fill this in, the different app features and that you're going to have to use. And this will clarify at one point. You're going to be looking at accessibility as well, and basically how you make an accessible app. And then there's a coding part. So if the coder is going to do something, so imagine if you've got 4 people, they can tackle these different areas. You can tackle these different areas differently. Okay, you won't have to do all that. If you're one person, you're going to have to go through and do all of these together. Whereas if you're a group of people, then a group of 4, then you can do these simultaneously. Now, you're going to explore some commands here, for example. So you're going to find out what commands are. If you don't know what they are, you might already be a coder. So if you are, this will be very easy for you. And if it is, you can go and help one of the other guys as well. But for those of you that haven't done coding before, you're going to look at these coding. What you're actually going to do is you're going to use an online compiler. An online compiler is basically, you're going to see one here, is basically something that mimics a program like Xcode, which is what we would use on a Mac. But obviously, if you don't have a Mac or an iPad or anything like that, you can use this. But for non-Apple users, you can use this, or you can actually use Swift Playgrounds if you do have an iPad or a Mac. But here we're using an online compiler for those people that don't have a Mac, so that you can see what it's like, get a feeling for what it's like to code in Swift. Okay, so that's one of the examples. That's an example of one of the tasks. And I'm sure you're going to have lots of questions. Don't worry about those too much. This is just to show you, give you an idea about what these tasks look like. Now, let me get back to my presentation. So so that was the example of a student task. Let's move on. What are we going to judge you on? Well, if you joined the program last year, the initiative last year, this will be very familiar to you, because we actually got the same challenge rubric here that we had last year. Okay, and this is what we're going to be scoring you on. So apart from the fact that you're going to be doing the tasks, we're going to be scoring you on these things. And this is for your, don't forget that you're going to submit an app prototype, okay? And you're also going to submit a video as well. And so these are the rubrics. These are the instructions of what the judges use, what the judges are looking for when they look at your app prototype and your video. So this is a very important page. And we actually give you this as well, so that you can have a look at what they're going to be looking for. Okay, so apart from the fact that you're going to go through the challenge, okay, you're going to complete the tasks on the LMS that we'll send the details of next week. The other thing that you're going to do is you're going to actually design the app prototype, and you're going to design the video as well, and you submit that, and we're going to judge you on that as well. So we can see whether your app is good, or your app prototype is good or not. And that's done by experts, by the way. We have app developers that actually, you have a team of app developers that actually judge those. So what's coming up? What's the program timeline like? Okay, well, on the 8th of November, which is today, we've had our student and teacher online launch. That's going to be recorded. It's being recorded now, and it will be uploaded onto the website a little bit later on. We'll get those up, on those videos up for you, so that you've got access to those as well, and also to share with your friends who couldn't make it today. And then in November, in kind of later on this month, we've got the club leaders. So these are the enablement sessions for the teachers. We're going to have one in November and another one in January. And again, you don't, if you miss one, that's okay. Just watch the video so that you understand what is expected of you as a club leader. Okay, and we're going to have a special event on the 10th of December at COP28 in Expo City. That's where COP28 is going to be, and that's going to be part of the Ishraqat Festival, which the Ministry of Tolerance hosts. Sheikh Nayan's team. Basically, they're going to be there, and we're going to host a special event there to talk a little bit about iOS design at that event. We'll have expert sessions running from January to February, like we said. The submission of the challenge will be in April, and then in May, and we'll tighten up these dates as we move along, and we understand how many people are submitting, and how we are. We'll make sure that those dates are finalized for you, and then we'll announce the winners in May. Okay, and then you will be joining the winners from this cohort. Will be joining the Swift Accelerator program, which will begin in the academic year, in the new academic year in September 2024. Now, between May and September, if you're lucky and you have won, but it's not about luck, actually. There's no luck about it. If you've got a good app, you're going to get through, okay? Good app prototype. But between May and September, okay, there'll be a bridging program. So there'll be some sessions that you'll have to do. But we are very wary that people go on holiday during the summer. So we keep it quite light. But we do a little bit of preparation during the summer that you'll be doing online. You won't have to have any in-person sessions. And then in September, we'll do the in-person sessions, and they usually take place on a Saturday. And they'll be recorded as well, and there'll be some online sessions as well. Now, we do have a dedicated iOS Design Challenge WhatsApp channel, okay? So if you have got a phone handy, you can scan the iOS Design Challenge WhatsApp channel, and you can join that group if you haven't already joined that group, and we keep you up to date on that. Of course, once you've signed up to the LMS, there'll be another communication system that we can use with you through the LMS. But obviously the WhatsApp channel is important. And I would also, if you can also take a picture of this as well, and share that with people that you think might want to take part in it as well, and they can find out there. And you can also share the website with them. So now it's time for questions and answers. I don't know, Hiba, is there anything?
Yes.
Are there lots of questions?
Lots of questions.
All right, let's fire away. I'll try and answer. How long have we got to answer these questions?
Around 40
till 7.
Good. I think you'll answer a lot of them.
Okay, tell me. So let's fire away.
We're 5. Can we register as 5, or it's only 4? Maximum
Well,
number.
I think I explained that. Yeah, I think I explained that already. It's only 4 in a group. Okay, so no, you can't.
A lot of
have to be
students
4 in a group.
asking about the LMS. What is an LMS and which LMS?
Well, I did explain that. If you were listening, I did explain that. There was a recording of this as well. We can go back to it, but I'll explain again. An LMS is a learning management system. It's a platform that allows you to access the materials and the competition, allows you to access the materials and competition so that you can submit. You'll submit everything on there. You'll find all the materials on there. Everything's in one place for you, and it will become available to you. If you've registered, it will become available to you. Share the login details with you, and you'll be able to log in to that and get all the information you need. So you just need to remember the iOSdesign.ae website, because everything is going to be there in one place, including all the videos, including the WhatsApp channel link, including everything. I think the WhatsApp channel link is already live on the video. If I'm not mistaken.
The app
yes.
be a game?
Can the app be
a game?
Yes, of course. The app can be a game. However, remember that you're building an app prototype. So you're going to have to think about how you do that as an app prototype, okay? Because you're not building an actual game, you're building an app prototype, and we're going to be using Figma this year as well. So get familiar with Figma. Okay?
An interesting question. A winner from last year can register this year.
Yes, they can. The winner from last year can register again this year, even if they're part of a different team, if they're part of the new team. My question to the winner is, what will you get out of it by doing it again?
Another MacBook.
Another MacBook and another opportunity to go back on the thing. But yes, you can. We're not going to stop people from applying again.
I think students don't really understand what an app prototype.
Yes.
Have lots of questions about what's a prototype, what coding language you need for a prototype, and so on.
Okay, so the good news is, yes, so the good news is you don't need any coding to do an app prototype, okay? An app prototype is like a mock-up, and we're going to be doing some sessions on app prototyping, so don't worry too much about it, and there's lots of information in the LMS. But an app prototype is like a fake version, if you like. It's like a fake version of your app. It's like you envisaging what your app is going to look like and how it's going to function without doing any of the coding behind it, which is the hard work behind it. So we're going to give you a challenge. So we're giving you a challenge, and then we're asking you, okay, with this challenge, we want you to create a solution to it using an app. What would your app look like, and how would it act? How would it function? So an app prototype allows us to see how it would function. And you're going to be using something called Figma. I don't know if somebody can put that into the chat for us, the link to Figma, and have a look on there. But there'll be some videos as well on Figma to help you understand. So what we want you to do is submit a Figma file, which is going to be your working app prototype. So what Figma allows you to do, it allows you to, if you like, press on a button, for example, and it'll take you to another screen, and you don't need any coding. So it's done with a visual interface to help you build your app without any coding. Okay, and maybe you do know how to code, and that's okay as well. But what we're asking for is a working app prototype. And as you know, if you're a coder, coding your prototype can also help. But we're not judging you on coding skills. We're judging you on the best idea and the best video for your app.
Okay. Another question. What is the purpose of the numbers site? I think they got confused with the numbers task that you showed them.
So the numbers document that I showed you was an example of one of the tasks that you're going to have to do in the LMS. So remember that the LMS is the learning management system. It's the platform that we're going to use. Last year we had a workbook, but this year we're not going to have a workbook. We're going to have this on an online system, and there are different tasks that you have to complete on that system. And what I showed you was one of the tasks, a group task that you're going to have to do. And I just wanted to show you that, just to give you an example of one of the tasks. That's why I showed you that.
Okay.
You'll see that again, James.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I already registered using the link sent in WhatsApp. So do I have to register in the website? I think there's a confusion between what they receiving on WhatsApp and registration.
Registration only happens on the website. Okay. So if you want to register, then you need to register on the website. The WhatsApp link is for you to just be kept informed. The WhatsApp channel is there to be kept informed, to get sent information. It's not there for you to register. To actually register, you need to go to the iOSdesign.ae website and register. And the two ways of registering, you can register as a teacher. So you can register, the teacher can register and register the team that teacher will be responsible, the teacher will be responsible for. They can register multiple teams. So if you want, you can register again and re-register. You can do that. And then then the other option is for students to register. And if you're a student that's registering and you're registering a team, you don't need to register individually. You only need one student from the team to register. There's room for another 3 students when you register as a student for them to fill in your name. Okay.
Okay. Someone is turning 19 on September 2024. Or they will be 19 in 2024. Are they allowed to register or to participate? Because we have high school students, grade 12 or year 13, who are 18, probably approaching 19 very soon.
Okay, I'm going to make a decision on this. And the answer to the question is, if you're 18 now, okay, then you can register and you can take part. If you happen to be 19 when you win, then so be it, no problem. Come and join us. Okay, so if you win and you're 19, that's fine.
Cool. A question that we got a lot. If you're working in a group or in pairs and the group wins, the MacBook or the prize goes for one of them or each person in the group?
Yeah, so we take a MacBook, one MacBook, and we cut it into 4. Okay, so we'll cut it in the middle. And then we'll cut it vertically first, then horizontally. And then we'll give you a piece each in the group. Of course, you get one each. You get one each. If you win in the group, you'll get one each. Okay. Of course you will. So, but your group wins. It's a group effort, and so your group will win a MacBook each. So one per. There are 4 people in the group. You'll each get a MacBook. Okay.
All right. A question that we got from teachers: can we participate as members in the students group, and can we win a MacBook?
The answer to that is no. You cannot be a teacher and take part in the group. However, and this is very important to understand, and no, we can't give you a MacBook, but we can give the MacBook to the student. Okay, the MacBooks are for the students. However, you do have the opportunity to be part of the team because you can guide the team and you can help the team. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that we're considering, and we haven't made a decision on this yet, but we hope it will be a reality, that you also join the winning teams on Swift Accelerator. So we'll give you the opportunity to join the winning teams, probably on Swift Accelerator. So if you're a teacher that has a winning team, in fact, you'll be helping us out. We're going to expect you to help us out on Swift Accelerator and be part of the team that way. Unfortunately, we don't have the opportunity, you don't have the opportunity to get an actual Mac yourself, but you are welcome to join the teams, not as a team member, but as a coach and a guide and a facilitator.
Other questions are they can't find the LMS. Okay, so probably they got confused between the website where they have to register and the LMS because you have mentioned it several times. So can we clarify that point?
Of course. So the LMS is the learning management system. It's not available to you yet. That's why you can't find it. Okay. And it will become available to you probably next week. But what's important for you to do right now is to go to the iOSdesign.ae website and to register on the website. Okay. Once you have registered on the website, you will have access eventually to the LMS. That's basically I think I've answered that question. Okay, so all the information that you need for everything, for any of this, is on the iOS design website. Okay, so there'll be the link there, the links for the WhatsApp there, the link to register for things is on there, the videos are all on there, everything is on the iOS design website, all in one place.
All right. For the tasks that are on the LMS, do we have tasks that require coding?
Yes, there are tasks there that require coding, but they're not coding to a level that you're not going to be able to do. They're rudimentary coding tasks for the coding role. So the person that's taking the responsibility of the coder will be doing the coding tasks, but there are step-by-step instructions on how to do the coding. It's for you to get to understand coding, because when you win iOS design, or if you win iOS design, you will be expected to do some coding, quite a lot of coding. Okay, so we want to give you a flavor of the coding experience. So yes, there is coding involved, but it's not difficult. It's not stuff that you can't do, and you should not be afraid of coding at all. It's just like learning a language.
Okay, one question. If there is no coding required, why does someone have to be a coder in our team?
Because unfortunately, to become an app developer, you need a coder. And that's the answer. So in an app development team, you have a coder, but you also have a marketeer. You also have a project manager. You also have a UX UI designer. You also have a visual designer. So everybody has their role. But without code, there is no app. So you do need the coding there as well. But you don't need any coding to begin the process. Okay, you're going to be learning that. So you come to iOS Design Challenge with zero coding, but by the end of it, you'll have a very good understanding of coding. You'll have a very good understanding of other skills as well, and you'll be able to join. If you win, you'll be able to join Swift Accelerator and develop those skills even further.
Okay. Where will you share the rubric?
The rubric will be shared in the LMS. All the information that you need for the tasks will be in the LMS.
Okay, an interesting question. What is a SDG?
An SDG, who wasn't listening? Somebody wasn't listening. An SDG, an SDG is a sustainable development goal. I spoke about it right at the beginning, and there are sustainable goals set out by the UN, by the United Nations, to make the world a better place. There are quite a few of them. You can go and check them out. You'll be looking at 5 of them in detail on the LMS when you get access to the learning platform. You'll focus on one of them in particular, but SDGs are very, very important because they're a way to make our planet a better place.
Okay, one common question that I found, what is Figma?
Figma is an app prototyping tool. It allows you to build app prototypes without coding so that they become interactive. So you can build prototypes that when you press the button, it'll take you to another screen. And so that's what Figma does. Okay. Now, it's cross-platform as well. So you don't need a Mac for those. Okay. So you can do it on a PC, you can do it on an Android device. You can do it on anything.
Okay, another question is, what is the video about? What is it for? What is it about? What should you include?
The video is about your app, about what your app does, explaining what your app does, and selling your app to us. You're selling why your app is a good idea. You're selling it to us. I don't know if you've ever seen Shark Tank. If you've seen Shark Tank, where they go and pitch their ideas to the business people, and they say, yes, I'll give you some money because I think your idea is very good. You're trying to pitch to us, and we'll have some sessions on pitching your idea as well. You're pitching to us. You're telling us why your app is a good idea.
All right.
Okay, I think we better wrap it up.
Yes, because I get the same questions repeated again and again.
Okay, all the information that you need is on
the website.
And we've also got an email as well, which you can see on the screen now. The website is where you'll find everything. Before you write an email, please take a look at the website, because I can guarantee you'll get a quicker response. Have a look on the website, because you'll see that most of the questions that you're asking for are probably being answered on the website. Okay, so have a look at those, and the LMS should be with you next week sometime, and you'll have access to the learning management system as well. Okay, I'd like to thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. And hope to see you soon in one of the sessions. Thank you very much, Hiba. Thank you to all the team for helping out today. It's been great to thank you to all of you for all your help today. It's been very useful, I think, this session, and I hope it will have a lot